Welcome back into Tapped Out here on the BetQL Network. Joining us now, Johnny Eblen, the Bellator middleweight champion, also a University of Missouri guy. I got to tell you, bro, I went to KU, so I'm a Jayhawk. So, no love lost there. What's up with all you MU guys? Like whether it's Woodley or you or hell, I mean, you keep going, Ben Askren or Michael Chandler. How come all you guys have success doing MMA after wrestling?
I mean, they have a few guys in at Penn State that go on to fight and they become successful. You got Ed Ruth. Oh, he's not fighting anymore. You got Bo Nickel, and then you got what's his name? Phil Davis. All PSU guys, and you got Oklahoma State. You had Johnny Hendricks. You had freaking Kyle Crutchmer. I'm sure I'm missing a few. But there's, I think University of Missouri though is definitely a college that turned out a lot of high level fighters. But all across the D1 wrestling landscape, you're going to have a few guys from the same program, show up and do well, I think, But at the end of the day, I think it's just like that college wrestling background is super important to have in dictating where the fight goes. So I think that's why guys like me and guys like guys that have that college wrestling base have so much success in MMA.
John, how much did you even impress yourself with how bad you whooped Gegard Mousasi? I think he was steamrolling a lot of fools in Bellator. And I mean, you went through him, man. I mean, you dominated in that championship performance. I mean, was it even a little bit surprising to you how good you were on that high level?
Nah, I kind of knew this was going to happen because of how I spar, how I train. Like the level of training partners I have is very high ATT. So I have a pretty good concept of like how good I am comparatively to the people I train with. So unless like Gegard's like a whole different animal, which he wasn't, I kind of knew he wasn't. I kind of knew the fight would play out like that because all the training I do at ATT kind of like prep me to fight guys that are high level like Gegard. I got some of the best training partners in the world. I get some of the best sparring rounds in the world. So going into that fight, I was very confident in my ability to manhandle.
When you've got a name like that on your resume now, I mean, Gegard Mousasi, how much, not that you weren't respected before, but how much instant respect does that give you?
For sure, putting my name out there, it's a more legitimate win and it's a step in the right direction. I think it was an appropriate step. Some people thought I was overstepping my bounds, like, oh, I should have fought somebody else before I fight Gegard Mousasi, but I thought it was the right guy to fight at that time. And plus, I mean, there's not too many big name guys in Bellator right now. A lot of them are up and comers for the most part. But yeah, I mean, definitely put some respect on my name, and I think it's well deserved. And I'm going to continue to win and continue to beat big names and continue to beat guys that have good records that are world beaters and make them look human.
Johnny, getting back to American Top Team, like it's such a factory over there, so many top guys. How do you find the right mix of what works for you there? Because it feels like you have a factory there of everybody. You walk in there, there's a glass case full of belts. They know what the standard is, but is it sometimes, was it overwhelming when you first got there? And how did you find your way in, to the right, sense of guys to work with to get yourself right for championship fights?
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever was overwhelmed because I've come from a background of like where being a champion is kind of the standard. Being top notch is the standard. Coming from even my high school, Park Hill High School, they have a list of state champs and state placers and national champs up on the wall. And even in kids club, we had that, so the whole objective was to get on the wall. Right. And then you just go from kids to high school to college. They got portraits of national champs up there and guys that have placed at NCAAs. You got conference champs and stuff like that. So the goal was to get up on the wall up there. And then, it's just nothing new. Get up on the wall at ATT and put a belt in the case. I've been bred for this my whole life since I was a kid. So never was too overwhelming for me. The way I got into the sport was through Steve Mocco, and I met some of my like core coaches like probably within the first couple weeks I was there. I met King Mo while he was still training. He really took me under his wing. I met Mike Brown. He actually held pads for me the first time like ever after grappling class when I was trying to learn how to box. And he's not a boxing coach really, but he was like trying to help me as much as he could. And honestly, like just thinking about it right now is just like crazy. Because I would work and then I would go to grappling on Wednesday afternoons and it would be Mike Brown's class, and then he would stay an extra hour with me after and just hold pads for me because he knew I was a guy that like wanted to get better and wanted to learn how to fight. But he's one of my main coaches. Then I kind of bounced around with striking coaches. I didn't really fall onto any particular coach until I ran into Dia Davis. Great boxing coach, works with Dustin Poirier.
That's my guy.
And then,
Boca Boxing District.
Yeah. And then I ended up really like sticking with Tiago. Pitbull is like such a great coach, and he's just a veteran of the sport, and he has a great fight IQ. So landing like these particular coaches was really important for my just to get a good base of like who I need to work with at the gym coach wise. I work with all the coaches at the gym, but these are the main guys I kind of go to. And then I think it's pretty easy for me to get better at that gym because I like sparring. I like getting live sessions in. I like showing up. Even when I don't have a fight, I'm showing up, helping people out, getting rounds. So I think it's a combination of all the resources at the gym and then my ability to just like show up and like I just enjoy getting better and I enjoy fighting. So I think it's a combo of a little bit of both because you can have all the resources in the world and be at the best gym in the world and have the best coaches. But if you're not showing up and you really don't love doing this, you're not going to get any better.
And then when you finally get into the cage and you got a guy like, oh, hell, I don't know, Dustin Poirier in your corner. When you talk about all these names, like these champions, these all-time greats, these Hall of Famers, how much does that elevate your own level, almost just not wanting to let these dudes down?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just me in the corner. It's just me in the cage. They're just in my corner giving the best advice that they can. And I just think these guys have spent so much time in the cage. They know what it's like to be in there. So, and they all have their different nuanced views of like what's going on and like what techniques they think I could pull off and what they think I should need to do or what they think I should do in a fight or so on and so forth. I just really like carry it highly that these guys are very, very like tested in on the battleground within a fight. And just having that and knowing that they have that knowledge just makes me feel a little bit more secure having those guys in my corner.
Talking to Johnny Eblen, who's going to be fighting Anatoly Tokov coming up on February 4th on CBS. How big a deal is this for you, man? You fight on broadcast TV, like, you know, that was something Kimbo did back in the day, getting that kind of a big audience. That has to mean a lot to you. Yeah,
I'm glad that Bellator put me on this card. I'm looking to show out and have fun and put on a show, man. Whether it's rounds at the gym, whether it's during the COVID times when no one was even at the freaking fight and you could hear every punch, you could hear your corner, you could hear the commentators, to having crowds back in. And then now like live on CBS with a big crowd in LA is going to be awesome, man. Like I just like to fight regardless of if anybody's watching or if the whole world's watching. I just like performing and having fun.
Johnny, as like, you know, when you get to the top and you get to this point of being champion, do you notice people around you changing? Like, how is that? Because you work so hard, you work so hard to get that tight knit group that worked with you. Do you have new people who say, well, now I want to put my input because now they know he's legit? And do you have to block that out because you just kind of want to keep your circle what your circle is?
Kind of. Not really. At the gym, people kind of know like the guys I work with. So not too much of that. It's more like outside of that, outside of the gym where like, you know, people are starting to recognize me. People are like wanting to invite me out to places, so on and so forth. And honestly, if I with them beforehand, I'll probably, you know, entertain it. If I didn't, probably will just block it out. More sponsorships are coming through for sure. I got some more people talking to me, and it's I'm getting a little validation, and with that comes, a little bit more responsibility with the people I need to surround myself with. So yeah, I think I gauge it pretty well, and I cut out the people I need to cut out, and I let the people in that I need to let in.
Have you found it hard at all because you train in a pretty awesome place in South Florida? There can be a lot of fun distractions. Do you allow yourself to
Mhm.
enjoy that at all because you worked your ass off to be champion, or do you have to I guess bat it off even more because there can be a lot of temptation
Hey,
down here.
Kansas City's cool too, BT. We
Not
got some
like
stuff
this,
Kansas
going
City.
on
dude.
here in
Not like
Kansas
this,
City
dude.
too, bro.
Not like it is down here.
Yeah, there's a lot of distractions for sure, and I cut out a lot of them. But here and there, I'll entertain some things, enjoy myself a little bit. But I tend to stay away from drugs and drinking for the most part, and I feel like that's where people really have a downfall is when they get stuck on like narcotics and like getting like up. I tend not to really party like that, but I might go out, stay out a little bit, entertain a dinner, go out for a little bit, and maybe not get the right amount of sleep that night, but I'll make it up like during the week usually, and it's not like a thing I do like often. So my main goal is to be the best fighter in the world, not be the best partier.
What about when you're inside that cage though? Because you got that O next to you, that undefeated record. How are you not, cocky or get to the point where you just think that nobody can beat you when they haven't so far?
Um, I mean, I don't necessarily think anybody can beat me, but I do understand that there is a chance that I can lose, and I don't really care, man. It's just a fight. It's just a number. Like, who cares? Like, no, I don't want to get embarrassed on national television. I don't want to get knocked out. I don't want to get beat up. So that's why I train so hard. But sometimes, you can't control it. But also, I don't care. This doesn't even matter. Like, if I win or lose, it literally doesn't matter. To what goes on in the world. Like, I'm just entertainment at the end of the day. So I don't really take too much. I don't weigh it too highly. Like, if I was like a business owner and if I had to like create a product that, let's say had to save people's lives, that would make me really nervous. Like, I literally have a friend that works for the medical device sales company for a medical device sales company, and he has to program these heart things to keep patients alive. And if he up, someone might die. You know what I mean? Like, that's stressful for me. Like, that's stressful, bro. Like, someone's life is in your hands. I'm just going in a cage and like fighting somebody. That's not a big deal. Like, engineers have to build buildings that don't crumble, and like churches that have to like keep society afloat. Like, that's nerve wracking. Me going in a cage and like fighting another human, like, and I'm damn good at it, man. That's nothing. I'm just in there having fun, providing entertainment for people. So yeah, I don't know. I think my scope of things are a little bit different than what most people would think. So that's why I don't. That's why I'm so like relaxed during fight week. 'Cause it's just like, hey man, I'm here for fun. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to get paid and be an entertainer. And I'm just gonna enjoy every moment of it and put on a show because it's really not that big of a deal.
Johnny, we've seen with Bellator a lot of young stars starting to rise between you, AJ McKee. They're just kind of own little stable. How important would it be to you to ever like test yourself against UFC guys, or do you like the idea of being kind of this new wave face of Bellator and being that young crop, which they seem to be trying to keep a lot of you guys around and have their longevity go on for a while?
Yeah, I think it's important to keep homegrown talent at this in your like to retain like talent. It's very important to build a promotion. So um, I mean, I don't mind the idea as long as I'm getting paid well, and as long as I'm fighting often, and as long as as long as the numbers match what I want, and I'm being active enough, I don't see a problem with it. The only thing is, yeah, it's tough because UFC doesn't do cross promotional stuff, so there might be fights I want that they can't make happen, and then it gets a little bit weird there, and then you never really get. I guess you really don't get to test yourself with the top of the top uh, fighters. So who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for now, I love Bellator. I love where I'm at, I like where my contract's at. We'll see where it goes from here, you know?
Ironically, so does Fedor Emelianenko, and same thing, right? Like rinse and repeat. He couldn't work it out with the UFC, even though they tried many a time. Where would you have him ranked when it comes to like all time best MMA fighters?
Speak like since he's fought for so long, I put him easily top 5. Like best fighters of all time. Also, he's a heavyweight, so it's a little bit different because your longevity is a little longer. So you can fight till an older age. You know, if he was a smaller fighter, I don't think he'd be fighting as long as he did. But I mean, definitely top 5 ever. Like he's literally a legend of the sport. Um, Fought like the who's who in MMA. Fought in so many promotions, and you know, just put on really good performances. So definitely top 5 on my list.
Were you, John? Were you there the day the Dolphins came over to train with you guys over at ATT? And how did that go? Did you give any other players a whooping? Like, did they get a real welcome into mixed martial arts?
I mean, they just sat back and watched. I remember me and Roman Feraldo got some sparring rounds in the big cage, and I think we just like did 3 rounds, and I mean, we were just having fun, you know, kind of just playing around, sparring a little, not too crazy, but a little hard to give them a little bit of a show, and you could tell, you know, some of the guys were like, "Damn, that's pretty impressive," you know, and some of the guys you could kind of tell they didn't care, they're like, whatever, but
We're just here on a field trip.
yeah, kind of, but some of them, you know, were like, "Damn, this is pretty impressive. This is pretty cool," and it was a cool experience. I thought it was awesome. I think they should do that more often.
Johnny, before you split, one last question for you. So we know you got a fight coming up February 4th. Once you beat this guy's ass again, what's next? Like, do you give Masasi another shot, or what's up?
They're doing a number 1 contender fight. Um, Edwards and Musasi are fighting in May in Paris, I think. So probably winner of that. I gotta make sure I take care of Tokov in a week. That's more important. So I'm really focused on that. But it seems like they're trying to set up the next contender for the belt.
We're rooting for you, man. We've had your eye on you. We appreciate you coming on, dude. Stay healthy. Go out there and win this fight, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.